How many are volunteering for Irish Festival? Hold your hands up. Thank you very much. Rather than take a lot of time right now, let me just say, immediately following the meeting, if you wouldn't mind staying for about 5 minutes, I've got some instructions that I need to pass out, some relays on a couple quick changes that they have this year that affect us getting there and getting ready for the festival. I've also got the schedule, so if you want to double check when you are scheduled to serve, come take a look at that. And then the last thing is, of course, I've got some t-shirts, so for those who don't have, this is the regular t-shirt that we normally wear for this event. So if you've got one of these in the closet, go ahead and pull it out and it'll work just fine. So the main thing is that I need to make sure everybody knows how to get to the art barn, which is through the back way, across the spillway. They have orange cones there, but don't worry about it, just go over. But other than that, just give me about 5 minutes at the end of the meeting today and I'll pass out some information to you. And if anybody needs a shirt, I got a few smalls left. Any questions? Thank you, Dave. Other announcements?
Jill Cranstuber, she's not here, right? She asked me to announce that she needs people to help with Meals on Wheels once a week, every Wednesday for an hour. So you don't have to do it every Wednesday, but try and think about why you joined Rotary and about giving back. So it only takes an hour to deliver these meals. If you could, she sent out an email yesterday. So if you could just sign up, do it once every 3 months, once a year. But she needs help with our commitment to these people to deliver Meals on Wheels.
Thank you. Anyone else?
So Dublin Food Pantry, thank you for Rotary for doing 2 tables. If you signed up for those 2 tables and haven't yet paid your $150 a person to me, just do that anytime. Send it to me, send it to the pantry, give it to me here like somebody did this morning. If you didn't get on those 2 tables of Rotary and you still want to come to downtown at Bridge Park, there is waiting lists. We have 376 people, 47 tables of 8. It's just wonderful. But I do have a waiting list and I was able to fill some of those in the other day and those are done. So if you do want to be on a waiting list, you think you might want to go, just let me know. We talked about Dublin Food Pantry having a day of with Rotary of date checking all the food that's going to come in from the Irish Festival on Sunday morning. What we decided to do, the med school wanted to have a group of med students come over on a Saturday morning to do that, and they haven't had a chance to volunteer. So we're going to do Thursdays again instead. So Thursdays in August, which there are 4 more Thursdays in August. There are no extra volunteers signed up for Thursdays in August. So I'd like to offer that if Rotary members, if you did it before, if you want to do it again. If you didn't and you want a chance to do that, it's 9:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Thursdays in August, just for extra volunteers. Kids are going back to school, college kids, high school kids that we've had. So we're missing a few volunteers on Thursdays. So I've got this, I'll just start passing it around. We just need like 4 extra people on Thursday mornings. Thank you.
Thank you, Barb. Any other announcements? Allie?
Last week I mentioned that we're doing a family style volunteer opportunity on, I can't believe it's August 17th. So that's in 2 weeks from this weekend. So this is the Scioto River cleanup that I'm working with Michael Darling on. It's organized by the city of Dublin. What we'd like to do is have 15 to 20 volunteers. Kids are welcome to join, grandkids, children, neighbors. So if they're 16 and up, they can volunteer on their own. If they're under 16, they just have to have an adult. Blaine going, he doesn't know it, but he's going to be helping that day. So as long as there's an adult registered. So I'm going to pass around a sign up. It's from 12 to 3, so it's a pretty nice way to spend your afternoon. We'd like to, if we have 15 to 20 people, then we can have our own park to work on as part of the group.
It's from 9.
Oh, it said 12 to 3.
Let me double check it. I thought
Okay.
that's think that's misprint.
That's okay.
All right.
All right, we'll double check that, but it's on the 17th. And if you have any questions, we'll, can we send out a digital sign up as well for people that are missing? Okay. So we'll send that out as well, and we'll make sure that we have the right. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Happy Bucks. Susan.
All right, I am so excited. My father is going to be turning 100. I thought it'd be really cool, since some of you met him when he came to Pro-Am a few years ago, if you all could just sign a card, so that's that for Mom. Thank you.
Very awesome. And I have a happy buck. My daughter is getting married. So they haven't set a date yet, but both my current son-in-law and my future son-in-law, they both called to ask for their wife's hand in marriage. So I thought that was pretty awesome. So.
$10.
Gene,
Oh, please.
I'm happy $2.
3 of my photos were accepted, and if you follow me on Facebook, you already know this. 3 of my photos were accepted into a jury exhibit in, at the Dairy Barn Art Center in Athens, Ohio. And 1 was accepted into the Ohio Art League Fall Show. So I'm honored and excited.
Anyone else? Tom?
Congratulations.
Our granddaughter is getting married next year. They just announced that about a month ago. Probably been here.
Yeah.
My happy buck is that related to my mother visiting today. About 3 weeks ago, after 4th of July, we both came down with COVID and we did not feel well. She lives in Akron. And so that we feel well enough to actually be doing the Irish Festival, that makes me happy. Thank you. My happy buck.
Good morning, everyone. I talked to all of you a few weeks ago about Flamingo. And that's to be able to cure Rett syndrome, which my granddaughter has. And we were able to raise, our goal was 120,000, raised over 160,000 that day. So we're on to a cure.
Anyone else? All right, I'd like to welcome our esteemed Sergeant, Dave Pence.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Okay, here,
What's that for?
Happy Bucks.
Oh, Happy Bucks. Thank you. Okay, we have a few guests this morning. Ingrid, you sort of already introduced your mom, but would you like to introduce her again?
Sure, thanks, Dave. Again, it's my pleasure to have my mom joining us this morning as a guest. We have a busy weekend all planned, and so we thought we'd start off right with Rotary.
And Rich, you have a guest, Mike Jewell.
So, yeah, Mike was a member in the past and he's coming back, and he's also the president of the Historical Society here.
And Hallie, you have a very esteemed guest here to help with the recruiting for the river cleanup project.
Lane, but you say that that is all things. And that's what we're doing today. The service project. And I said, well, we're not doing anything. However, we made 2 of my very own blankets that I brought, that we've been needing to turn in. So he has a mission today.
Welcome all of our guests. And Today, the small pot's $21 and the large pot is $228. So if you take out your tickets and first of all, look in the upper left-hand corner, and if you have a 1 in the upper left-hand corner, then you owe me $1. Yeah. And I won't tell you if I could say if you have a 2, you owe me $2, but I won't do that. $1 if you have a 1 on your tickets. I wrote it with a pen. I wrote it in with a pen, yes. I'm gonna mix up these tickets really good and first we will draw for the small pot. Dean, I'll let you grab one out of here.
How many dollars did you do?
$21 for the small pot.
1619.
How many little ones did you write?
I have no idea how many ones I wrote. Is every other ticket?
Oh. 1619 Wolf.
Okay, $21 to Wolf.
Appreciate it.
All right, now we'll draw for the large pot. And it's the ace of diamonds that we'll be looking for.
1731.
All right, I will be right back.
So, David, I just have one question before you go. So, I was here and spent my $2 in the pot.
Yeah.
There wasn't a sergeant here to really give me my tickets.
Yes,
I
yes.
think that's a $1.
It's definitely a
For each
$1 for me.
Yes.
Looks like he's got his hand up on the screen.
That's my mouse.
I thought he wanted to
Put
say
Jack's hand up.
something.
Okay, yeah. All right, it's my pleasure to introduce Jessica Rudolph. Jessica is founder of My Very Own Blanket, a nonprofit organization she started in 1999 with a mission to provide handmade blankets to children in foster care, offering them a sense of comfort and security. Over the years, the organization has grown, celebrating 25 years of service and making a significant impact on the lives of countless children. She has demonstrated a lifelong commitment to making a positive impact on her community. She is actively involved in her church, St. Mary Magdalene, and she is a Rotarian and is an honorary member of the Short North Rotary Club and past president. She is a mother of 3 and hosted 12 exchange students in her home. Jessica, welcome and thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be able to share this with the club. How many people are aware of My Very Own Blanket? Oh, a lot of people. Have you seen my presentation before? Yes, perfect, perfect. Okay, and we have some blankets to be donated too, so that's exciting. As Jean had said, I am a member of the Short North Rotary Club. Was a member for many, many years of the the Westerville Sunrise Rotary Club, where I hosted 12 exchange students in my home. When my 3 children, at the time, I think they were 4, 5, and 6 is when I started. And from then on out, I hosted every year. And so that's how we got to 12. Because of that, my 2 children now live, my oldest and my youngest live in Sydney, Australia. And everybody says, oh my gosh, how did that ever happen? And I said, Rotary. You know, we're a big group of family and friends and they're over there. And I've been spoken at many Rotary clubs over there. And so it's been an amazing opportunity, Rotary is. So I'll stand here so that the Zoom people can see me. I need to advance.
Okay, try now.
Okay, very good. Okay, so what does Rotary do? We connect many individuals and community groups, organizations and businesses through this volunteer opportunity to bring love, comfort, and hope to children in foster care. So these two pictures that you see here, we've been able to use. These are two kiddos who have chosen and picked out a blanket that we've made for them. And so when children come into the foster care system, oftentimes they feel that they've done something wrong. That it's their fault that they're being put in the system. Or they feel that they're not lovable because they're being given away. So their little minds are trying to, grapple this whole situation that they're coming into. It's never, ever a fault of theirs that they're in the system. It's always the choice of, the parents. And so the goal of my very own blanket is to bring them love, is to bring them comfort and hope in a time of uncertainty in their lives, when they don't know where they're going to live next, when they don't know what school they're going to go to. What they will know is this blanket. So that's our goal, is to be able to bring them love. When you make a blanket, many people will say, I want to get involved with my very own blanket. I want to make a blanket. What can I do? And I'll say, well, do you know how to sew, knit, or crochet? And they'll say, no. And I'll say, that's okay. You can still get involved. So all of you can get involved and make a blanket in about 40 minutes. It's a no-sew fleece blanket. I'll show you in the end how you can make this. But when you make this blanket and when you take 40 minutes of your time out of your life, this is what you'll be doing. You will be putting the smiles and love into the heart of children and teenagers who so much at that moment and every day after that need to see love in their lives. So the need of and the impact of our charity is, this is a map of approximately how many kids are in foster care in each state across the nation. This is kind of a moving target, but it's a good estimate of how many kids are in the system in each state. At any given moment, there's about 450,000 kids across the nation in foster care. They come in to the system and they emancipate out of the system. But in Ohio, we have just over 16,000. We try and work with California as much as we can. They have almost 52,000 kids in care. In the Northwest Territory, you'll see there's not very many. The numbers aren't so high. That's because they have vast land, right? So there's not a big population out there. But we work across the nation, and this is the reason why 25 years I continue to do this. So I want to share with you now all the different places that the blankets make an impact. So of course they make a blanket, or they make an impact with the infants. Kids come, unfortunately, right out of the womb and go right into foster care. Children and teens. So they bring love and comfort from a stranger. So many kids who have gotten our blankets have said, oh my gosh, someone made this for me who doesn't even know me. How special is that? And it brings comfort and peace, again, in a time of transition and uncertainty. And it also supports every night and every day when we can't be there with them. The blanket that you'll have made to give to them, it supports their well-being. It supports their emotional and mental needs. These are pictures, again, of individuals who picked out the blanket. Even teenagers, you'll see, are smiling. And it just, it brings love to their heart. The blankets also support the foster families. So they have said to us that when a child comes to us with one of your blankets, it helps to make that first night just that much more peaceful. So if you can imagine, when a child goes into the foster care system and goes into a new home, they don't know what that home is going to look like. They don't know what the people that they're going to be living with. They've been told, they might have been told how many people are there, how many siblings they're going to have, but they don't know who they are, but they know this blanket. And so when they come into that home, The parents have said it just makes that first night that much easier. So the best case scenario is where we can get the children is into what's called kinship care. So kinship care is grandma and grandpa, an aunt or an uncle, a family member that the kids can go into their home, but that's not always the case. So from there, they go to a foster family that of a house that they're not familiar with. So the families, the foster families have said, thank you so much for seeing a need that we have when they open up their homes to them. The blankets are also a vital tool for the caseworkers. So I will advocate for all the caseworkers and say they are our frontline workers as well. What they have to see when they go in to try and keep these kids safe, really, really tough. The caseworker turnover rate is very high because it's a really hard job. So whatever we can do to help them and support them, and during that time when they're helping to keep the children safe, is what we need to do. The children and the teenagers will always see this adult as a stranger. So if they have a blanket, it helps to break down the barriers of them being seen as a stranger, and it helps to build trust and a relationship. So the middle picture here is a story I'll share of this caseworker. She is from Alabama, and she sent us the story, and she's in this picture. And she said they brought this little guy into care through a very traumatic domestic violence situation. And she said when we got him, he was really so paralyzed from what he had seen that he was just a little shell of a person. She said we tried to connect with him. We tried to give him, you know, toys and drinks and snacks. And she said nothing was working. She said, until I remembered I had one of your blankets in my office. And she said she went into her office, she got the blanket, she came out and she knelt down in front of him and she wrapped the blanket around his shoulders. And she said, at that moment, for the first time, he looked up at me with his eyes and he said, blue is my favorite color. And she said, from then on out, we were able to help him. So that's what these blankets are doing. 40 minutes of your time out of your life. You can make a blanket, and it makes such a difference to so many different groups of people. So we do need your help to reach our 2024 goal, is to give 40,000 children in foster care a blanket that they can call their very own. We're already up to almost 20,000. And some really exciting news is that as of May 1st, we are global. So I just finished my second blanket making event in Sydney, Australia. My daughter Cecilia did it for me with a company called Twilio. And when I go global, when I wanted to go global, my vision was to always go global. But when I did that, people are like, we're all across the nation. People said, oh my gosh, how did you expand? How do you do that? My vision was to always keep the blankets where they're made. Don't send them back to me. I want to help you get in contact with your local children's services and agencies. So when I was contacted by Twilio, I said, we're going to go local. We're going to stay local. So we outsourced the local fabric store. We got fabric from them, taught my daughter Cecilia how to make these fleece blankets to provide for them to make in an hour. They made 65 in an hour, and we kept the blankets local. So they went to a local, it's called Missions Engagement, and the blankets stayed with the kids in foster care, the kids and teens in foster care in Sydney. We're also in Dublin, Ireland, and London, England. And we're all across the nation. We're up in Canada and provinces down in the US Virgin Islands. Was able to get to the US Virgin Islands with St. Thomas Rotary Club. And so each blanket gets a special tag that says a special gift of love made just for you. And this tag communicates so much to all these different groups of people who work with the child. First and foremost, it portrays to the child that they are loved. So you can see it says, love you. The first heart says, this belongs to. That's where the child or teenager will get to write their name in marker on that line, showing that it's theirs and they get to keep it. It also shows all the adults who work with the child that it's super important you keep this blanket with this child if or when you should ever have to move them to a new location. Because unfortunately, they lose a lot as they go through the system. The next part says handmade by. That's where if you all make blankets, you will get to write your name there in marker, in your own handwriting, showing that, again, wow, someone made this for me who doesn't even know me. Then I went one step further and I said, write a special note to this kiddo. When we can't be there every night and every day with them, write something that they can see, that they can, hang on to and that will lift them up. I was doing an event down at the Columbus Music and Arts Festival, and I was sharing my very own blanket with a young gal, and her boyfriend spoke up and he said, I want to tell you, I actually grew up out of the foster care system. And I know that if I would have had one of these blankets, it would have made a difference for me. And if I would have seen that name, it would have made me feel that someone had my back. And I said, that's exactly what it's supposed to mean. So if you make a blanket in 40 minutes, like I said, it's super easy. You're just going to do three things. You're going to cut fringe on two opposite sides. You're going to tie the fringe, and then you're going to sign the special tag. So we have kits available. If this is to host a blanket making event, you can do it with kids and family. It's a great fellowship. It's a great service opportunity. So I would encourage you all to get involved and host a blanket making event at some point. But I want to, it's my last slide. Whoops. I want to thank you for helping me make a difference in the lives of children and teens in foster care. These 4 young ladies picked out, these were the blankets that they picked out. And it makes a difference. This year we are celebrating 25 years. On your table, you have, in the center, you have a half-page flyer that talks about what we do. But then we also are hosting a event on October 10th that you're all welcome to come to celebrate my very own blanket, to help us for another 25 years, bring blankets and quilts and love and comfort into the lives of kids and teens who so much need to see this. So thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Yes.
Did I miss it? Did you say how you got started?
No, I did not say. So I got started with my 3 babies. At the time, they were 1, 2, and 3 years old. And I could not hold them all as they were falling asleep. So what I did is I put 2 cribs and a toddler bed in a room and made my nursery. And I sat in the rocking chair. I thought I can only do 1 bedtime. So I sat in the rocking chair so that as they were falling asleep and so that they could see my presence. I was knitting a blanket as I was sitting there. And so each night I would lay them all down in their bed and I started knitting this blanket, and I knit a couple rows. And one night I thought, I give this blanket to. I saw my babies already had a blanket of their very own. And I thought, they don't need another one. So I thought, I could knit this for a child in foster care, because I'd always heard that they didn't have very much. I never had any experience with foster care, but I always heard that they didn't have very much. So I thought, oh, that's a good idea. I'll just knit this over the course of the next year. And next Christmas, I'll give it away to the area county children's services. So I was feeling good about my idea and what I was going to do. And then I thought, oh, what if I ask other people to help me? So I sent out a 1-page flyer and I said, will you help me make just 1 blanket? I said, because we're all pretty busy. I knew I was really busy. So I said, if you would just help me make 1 blanket. I said, if we all do a little bit, then together we can accomplish a lot. And so it wasn't until that first year that I received 84 blankets. My goal was to get 12. I received 84. Did I see the need? The caseworker said, oh my gosh, you have no idea how needed this is. These kids don't have anything. So I said, okay, well, I'll do this again next year. You know, the next year we received 526 blankets. And so I said, oh my gosh, I have to do this again next year. And people said, oh my goodness, you are so crazy. And I said, yes, but if you saw the need, I think you would continue it too. So each year I just kept doing this, and little by little, that's how we got started. And now we're global, and our goal is 40,000 this year. Last year, our goal was 35,000, and we exceeded that by 36. So, and we're nationwide. And again, I I want to help people keep their blankets and donate them so that they can meet the caseworkers and they get to see where they're going to. But yeah, that's how I got started with my 3 babies that are now 25, 26, and 27. Any other questions? Yes.
How many blankets over 25 years have you been doing?
Oh, that's a good question, and I need to figure that out before October 10th. I know, it's like the pressure. Oh, I'm not really a numbers person, so I just do the work. I just hit the ground running and do the work like all you Rotarians, you know, we just do the work. So I have a few numbers, but I need to, am I up to 1 million yet? I don't know, maybe. You know, but I don't know that answer. Yes.
So I think it was about 3 years ago, we supported My Very Own Blanket as one of the, I think it was our president-elect efforts. And this club, I think we did like 200 blankets, and Interact really helped us out. So our high school and middle schoolers loved making the blankets. But what I'll tell you guys is it's very well thought out, the size of the blanket even. So it's not too big, so they can take it with them and it's easy. But also all the different colors you offer, and then the label itself, so well thought out. And if you guys ever have a chance, it's in Westerville. You've got just a great facility, a lot of fantastic volunteers within there just cutting the fabric, right?
Yeah, we do. We do. You know, we also partner with other charities whose mission is just like ours, which is dedicated to kids in foster care. And, but what they do is they give out brand new bags and backpacks to kids in care. Comfort cases, My Stuffed bags, Stitched Together. So Stitched Together is actually a mom who is a foster mom. All her kids came to her with black garbage bags and paper sacks. So she started Stitched Together, and she's here in Dublin, just over on the other side of like off a hard road. And so we work with her a lot to help donate our blankets to her when she's packing for her backpacks and her bags. But yes, the caseworkers had said, you know, can you keep your blanket a single layer versus the double layer fleece? Can you keep it? So we have throughout the years kind of perfected this little system of, you know, thinking about the size that the blankets will be good for toddlers on up to teenagers. The Rotarians in St. Thomas said, it's really hot here. I don't think these kids need, you know, blankets. And I said, it's not supposed to keep them warm. It's supposed to bring them comfort and love. And they said, oh, okay. So the blankets are, you know, the medium size is real good. And so yeah, so if you want to get involved in and keep the blankets local, we could get them to carry and stitch together into her bags and backpacks. Yes.
How do we get supplies?
Yes, that's a great question. So you, on our website, you can just go to the order link and there are blanket kits that you can pick up and or ship. We ship them across the nation. And you can, and then what you do is I tell people there's on our website, there's another link that says delivering blankets. Anyone now across the world goes to that link and it'll scroll down to where they're located and they will deliver their blankets locally. I'm not sure if I said this, but our special tags are also silk screened in English and Spanish and French. So far, those are the 3 languages. I'm hoping for more, but we'll get there. We'll get there, but good question. So you can just jump on our website, myveryownblanket.org, and it's all there. And then if I can have the little guy back there, not little, but if you can come up and bring your blankets to us, that would be amazing. Perfect, and you made these? Very good, thank you. Let's get a picture.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, thanks for making these. Any other questions? Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for your time. I appreciate it. And keep in touch and I look forward to working with you soon.
Wow, thank you so much for raising awareness for this very important service thing that you do. So that's really awesome. Next week, we have the district governor, Gary Baker, coming to speak with us. He's going to share his goals for the district. So I hope everyone can attend and support that. Our closing quote: the goal is to restore hope, to help the world heal from destructive conflicts, and in turn, to help us achieve lasting change for ourselves. This is how Rotary brings lasting change to the world, one restored or newly created hope at a time. Gordon McAnally, Rotary International past president. I know we're ending a few minutes early, but I also know that Dave wants to take that extra time, and if you're volunteering for the Dublin Irish Festival, and who isn't, he needs a few minutes. So we'll see you next week. Thank you.
Oh, awesome. Can you be in the picture too?
This thing's still on.
Or no,
All right.
reporting.
All right, if you are going to be working at the Irish Festival, come on forward. I need everybody to take one of these sheets. It's a sheet that has the instructions for volunteers. On the back, it has a map of where to park. So if you haven't been there before, you'll come down Post Road. And there, as you're headed towards the, or either away from the city center or towards the city center, right there where where you turn in to go up to the rec center, there should be a guard posted there. You should tell him you're working with Rotary, because they're supposed to let us pass through. Normally, they won't let you pass through any cars. But just past that, there is about 100 feet down the road, there's a little concrete driveway entrance to a 2-lane gravel road that goes back across a spillway with water running, and you can drive across it. It's fine. There'll be an orange cone there. Don't worry about it. Just go straight across. And then in that, you'll see the red barn up there, and then down below is where we park.
There was 2 inches of rain last night, you know.
Say again?
There was 2 inches of rain last night, so it's gonna be this deep, right?
Nope. It runs through fast.
It's the same as last year.
Same as last year, same place. The shirts are there. And the main thing is, if you need to know when your shift is, I've got the list over here to do that. But there will be mandatory 5-minute training for those that are going to drive carts. Last year, we had an unfortunate incident where a member ran through a fence, and now everybody gets cart training. Yeah, thank you, Sharon. That's right. But please show up about 15 minutes before your scheduled training or your scheduled shift time, because that gives us enough time to bring the folks that have been working back so we can figure out where your station is and be apprised. You may have signed up for one thing, but I may shift you to another, depending on who shows up and how long people can stay and those kind of things. But as of right now, we're pretty well full. I think there's only 1 or 2 slots that are open, but we'll manage that. So thank you all very much for volunteering. Does anybody have any questions? This is the shirt. I have a couple of smalls, if somebody wants a small. But other than that, if you just wear your rotary pin or anything like that, should work.
Is our role the same as last year too?
Yes.
Okay.
And we don't need tickets? We don't need Irish Festival?
No, when you just tell, when you come by there, after your shift, I'll give you tickets for, that allow you to get back on the grounds.
Oh, okay.
So, other than that, any questions?
I haven't done this for a while, so exactly what will we be doing?
We are responsible for the setup of all of the stations that serve the liquor, the Jameson Irish whiskey. And so there's 9 total stations that we will be supporting, north, south, central, and south. And we usually have 2-man teams that go out and start and go, and we constantly monitor the flow of business, and then flow of sales. We check and see if they need replenishments. If they do, we order it from the barn, and then we'll send it down from the barn from there. But we have 2-man teams, 2-person teams, excuse me, that are in the field doing the inventory and checking to make sure that everything is working properly. And then we have a group at the barn that are running back and forth and entering data and that kind of thing, so.
Are we only doing Jameson's or are we doing White Claw and?
No, we're just doing the whiskey. Well, there is a mixer that we'll be taking out along with some Irish cream. There's a set menu for each place. And I'll show you that when you get there and we figure out where you're going to be working. We'll go through it in more detail so you know exactly. We have radios that we'll be using for communication. We'll teach everybody how to use the radio. But it's pretty much as we have done in the past. Any other questions?
Rain or shine.
Rain or shine. Yeah, the festival will go on, so meet at the barn. And other than that, thank you all very much.
Can I look at the schedule, just make sure I look at start
Yep.
time?
It's over there. Thank you.
Hey, Ron, I'm not gonna be here next Friday. Are you gonna be here? Or David? Are you gonna be here next Friday?
I plan to be, yeah.
Can you do the setup and do the Zoom and stuff?
I don't see why not. I think I can manage it.
Well, obviously. Yeah, I mean, you know, the big thing is you plug this in and then start the Zoom. And then it recognizes everything.
Right.
And shut everything, shut Zoom down, shut on Windows before you unplug it. And then it remembers the settings, but, you know, the only tricky part is you gotta find the input on the